Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another morning ramble. And I'm rambling in my car this morning. And I heard a story about Sid Banks a couple of days ago. Now, Sid Banks, if you don't know him, you can look him up, but if you've read any of my stuff, you've come across Sid Banks. He was a welder who had an enlightenment experience in his early 40s, and it made sense of it, explained it through three principles, and the mind, consciousness, and thought. Mind being the intelligence of life as made manifest in us. We are this aliveness, this life force, this intelligence in form, and we are informed by it in the form of our wisdom. If we listen, we don't have to listen. That's kind of cool. But if we do listen, we have the entire intelligence of the universe on our side. And we have this creative force called thought. And thought is the missing link, Sid would say, between that formless spiritual world and the world of form that we all know and some of us love and some actually know. We all love it sometimes and hate it sometimes. And that's that world of form is created via thought and then experienced in the third principle, consciousness, the awareness that we are. And somebody asked him, this was the story that I hadn't heard, if he'd ever doubted the truth of that once he saw it. And to my surprise, when I heard the story, he said yes, once, for 20 seconds. And I was like, cool. What happened? And the story went on to say, well, a thought came into my head. Like, is this really true? And he said, I could feel myself returning to the world of chaos with that thought. The world that most of us live in all the time, of constant personal thinking and questioning and doubting. A world of intellect with more or less involvement of intelligence behind it. And he said, so once I saw that, I had no interest in going back there. And I was talking with a client about it yesterday, and they were saying, well, but I mean, isn't doubt part of intellectual rigor? I mean, isn't it important to doubt? And what came to mind was a scene from the old movie The Untouchables with Kevin Costner and Sean Connery and Andy Garcia. I think Robert De Niro was in it. And there's a scene where the cops are about to perform a raid, and Sean Connery is this grizzled old cop, and Andy Garcia is this young cop. And Andy Garcia is like nervously checking his gun. And Sean Connery just looks at him and says, did you check your gun? And Andy Garcia goes, yeah. And Sean Connery goes, don't check it again. And what I shared with my client is what it looks like to me, which is rigor is checking your gun. Doubt, the gateway to the world of chaos, is checking it again, and checking it again, and checking it again, and checking it again. So I don't know what you take from the story. Maybe that's my summation. Is I'd love in the comment section if you would share what you hear in that story of Sid doubting the principles for 20 seconds once. For me, what besides a feeling of, oh, I get that. I get that. I'll tell one more story. There's an old Zen story about a samurai who went to a Zen master, insisting that he show him the gates of hell so he could go in and slaughter the devil. And the Zen master just started insulting the samurai. And I don't know how one insults a samurai. Perhaps make fun of the length of his sword. I don't know. But he insulted him enough that the samurai took his sword out and was going to chop off the head of the Zen master. And the Zen master just looked him in the face and said, "Welcome to the gates of hell." And And the samurai realized how quickly he'd gone there in his own mind, how he created hell in his own mind. And he put away his sword, and his eyes filled up with tears of not of shame, but of humility, of just realization. And the Zen master looked at him kindly and said, "And here are the gates of heaven." And that's what this story evokes in me. Please do share your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.